Right, Odysseus. So, you know how some numbers just feel different? Like they have this inherent vibe to them. Some lucky, some not so much. It's really fascinating, isn't it? The whole superstition around numbers.
Oh, absolutely, Athena. It's one of those things that's just so ingrained in cultures worldwide, isn't it? And it all stems from ancient observations, religious texts, even historical events. And when we talk about numbers in superstition, there's one number that absolutely always jumps out, doesn't it? One that's just notorious. It's one short of 13.
Ah, you mean 13? The big bad 13. Yeah, that's definitely the champion of bad luck in the West, isn't it? I mean, it's just got such a widespread negative connotation. People really go out of their way to avoid it, don't they?
They really do. It's wild. But it's not just 13, is it? We've got numbers like 7, which is generally seen as incredibly lucky, and then 12, which pops up everywhere. And they're all tied into things like the 7 days of the week, the 12 hours on a clock, the 12 months of a year. It's quite a tapestry of belief, really.
So let's start with 7 then. Because, 7 days in a week is just there. We don't really think about it. But where did that even come from? And why is 7 often considered so lucky?
Right, good question. So the 7-day week system, it actually originated with the Babylonians. Yeah, they attributed each day to one of the 7 celestial bodies they could observe at the time. The Sun, the Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, and Saturn. Pretty clever, actually. And that structure, it was then adopted and adapted by loads of other cultures. And that really cemented the mystical significance of 7.
Wow, Babylonians. That's ancient. So it's really the celestial connection that gave it its initial oomph then.
Precisely. And you see it universally now. 7 is often considered lucky across diverse cultures. Think about casinos, for example, lucky 7s. In Christianity, it symbolizes perfection and completeness, from the biblical account of God creating the world in 6 days and resting on the 7th. It's also, in ancient mathematics, it was the first number whose fraction resulted in an infinite sequence. And in nature, like the 7 stars in the Big Dipper, it's just everywhere, isn't it?
That's incredible, the depth of it. But what about the individual days? Do they all have their own little quirks and superstitions beyond just the number 7 overall?
Oh, absolutely, they do. I mean, you've got your Monday blues in Western cultures, right? It's associated with new beginnings, but some traditions deem it unlucky for travel or starting major life events. In Irish culture, cutting your hair on a Monday is thought to bring bad luck. Then Tuesday, that's linked to conflict and determination because of Mars, the god of war. Fun fact, in Spain and Greece, Tuesday the 13th is actually considered even unluckier than Friday the 13th. Crazy, isn't it?
Oh, that's a new one. So Tuesday's a double whammy for some. What about the rest of the week?
Well, Wednesday, folklore suggests Wednesday's child is full of woe, but it's also generally seen as a day for wisdom and trickery. Thursday, that's often associated with fortune and expansion, which is nice. Friday is a day of love and superstitions, and some beliefs actually suggest that starting a journey on a Friday ensures a safe trip. Then Saturday, generally for rest, but in Jewish culture, Shabbat is observed from Friday sunset to Saturday sunset, a day of rest. Astrologically, Saturday can sometimes be challenging because of its association with Saturn.
And Sunday, the last day.
In Christian culture, obviously, a day of rest and worship. But Western superstitions also suggest that cutting hair or nails on a Sunday can bring bad luck. So, be careful with your personal grooming choices on a Sunday.
Right, definitely noting that down. So after 7, what about 12? That's another number that just crops up everywhere, doesn't it? 12 hours on a clock, 12 months in a year. What's the deal with 12?
of 12 is just absolutely fantastic. It holds really significant cultural importance and is often regarded as a super lucky number. It represents totality and completeness, and it's like constantly appearing in religious texts. The Bible, for instance, has it 187 times. The division of a year into 12 months is mainly influenced by lunar cycles, because there are approximately 12.41 lunar cycles per solar year. Ancient civilizations, including the Babylonians again, adopted a 12-month calendar system. And similarly, the 12-hour clock system, that also traces its origins to the Mesopotamians, who used a base 12 and base 60 numerical system. So these ancient guys, they were really onto something.
That's incredible. The Mesopotamians, too. So it's really the lunar cycles and ancient maths that made 12 so prominent.
Exactly. From a mathematical perspective, 12 is actually highly divisible by 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6, making it really practical for measurements and divisions. This practicality probably definitely contributed to its widespread adoption in timekeeping and other systems. But beyond practicality, 12 is just so prevalent. The 12 signs of the zodiac, the 12 disciples of Jesus, the 12 tribes of Israel, the 12 animals of the Chinese zodiac, it just keeps going. Some even theorize its positive reputation is partly due to its contrast with, the supremely unlucky number 13.
Which brings us back to 13, the big bad wolf of numbers. Why is it so widely considered unlucky, especially in the West? What's the real root of this triskaidekaphobia, is it called?
Yes, triskaidekaphobia. And the origins are really multifaceted. It's not just one thing. So first up, Norse mythology. The mischievous god Loki was actually the 13th guest to arrive at a banquet in Valhalla, and that event led to chaos and, tragically, the death of Balder. Not a great start for 13, was it? Then, in Christianity, Judas Iscariot, the disciple who betrayed Jesus, was the 13th person present at the Last Supper. And then you combine that with Friday, believed to be the day of Jesus' crucifixion, and that's where you get Friday the 13th as this especially ominous date.
Right, so a lot of it really does come from deeply embedded religious and mythological stories then.
Oh, absolutely. The historical weight is immense. Also, calendrical issues played a part. In ancient times, a year with 13 full moons, rather than the more common 12, actually disrupted calendrical systems and was often seen as an unfortunate or, portentous occurrence. The Mayan calendar's 13th Bactun was also superstitiously feared as a harbinger of apocalypse in 2012, which, thankfully didn't happen. And then historical events, too, like the arrest and torture of the Knights Templar on Friday, October 13, 1307. All these things just piled up against poor old 13.
That's a lot of baggage for one number. So how does this fear of 13 manifest today? I mean, beyond just, Friday the 13th. Are there still, actual physical examples of people avoiding it?
Oh, absolutely. You see it everywhere. Many buildings, particularly high-rises, will just omit a 13th floor, skipping directly from 12 to 14. Some airlines don't have a row 13 on their planes. Hotels and hospitals often avoid using the number for rooms and gates. It's quite pervasive, actually. In France, for example, it's considered bad etiquette to have exactly 13 guests at a dinner table. They'd often invite an additional guest to avoid that number. Historically, some U.S. presidents even forbade meetings with only 13 people present. It's really quite ingrained, isn't it?
That's wild, the extent of it. But is it just a Western thing then, or is 13 universally unlucky around the world?
That's a really good question, and actually, no, it's not universal at all. In ancient Egypt, the number 13 was associated with transformation, so it was considered lucky. And funnily enough, in Italy, it's still regarded as a lucky number. Furthermore, in Judaism, turning 13 marks a bar mitzvah, which is a significant rite of passage, symbolizing maturity and responsibility. So the perception of 13 as unlucky is predominantly a Western construct. Other cultures have different numbers they consider inauspicious, like the number 4 in many Asian cultures, which sounds similar to the word for death in their languages. So it really just depends on where you are.